Today, I'm showing off our new book, co-authored with Colin Boisvert, a brilliant up-and-coming paleontologist.
So, Tyrannosaurus Rex, 27 dinosaurs you likely didn't know from Adratiklit to Zabi, because after all, A is for Adratiklit.
And Z is for Zabi, and we have 27 dinosaurs because of the mystery excitement.
We do have the mystery excitement, which, oh, I really hope people are able to get that, man. Yeah, we found a dinosaur that has no repeats of letters in its names, so you have to look for the clues we left in the book to put it all together and spell it out.
So people ask, who are we? And I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I study sauropods. I've traveled the world, 6 continents, 30 plus countries, all 50 states. I have tracked down dinosaurs, sauropod dinosaurs, until recently exclusively, but I've broadened my horizons. And along the way, I've met hundreds of paleontologists over 3 decades and have touched some of the most significant fossils in the world. And it's been an utter delight. And then I met you, one of the brightest up and coming paleontologists. The next generation is in great hands, Colin. And
Right.
you said, let's do a book. That's
Yeah,
how it started.
yeah. I can tell you some of my initial thoughts, right? I was on a Zoom call with friends and of course did the thing people say in calls where it's like, I should write a book. Like I got an idea for a book. We should write a book, like do an alphabet book of dinosaurs that aren't really getting attention, that aren't in, the social or in media and the documentaries out there and like give them a fair shakedown. And then of course it's like, well, if you write a book like that, you might have like 13 theropods, five sauropods, and then like two ornithischians. I know there are 26 letters in the alphabet, but stay with me here. And so not only did, it's like, oh, we need to write a book that goes through dinosaurs that haven't really gotten their day in the sun as much. But we also need to, we need to keep it balanced, right? And so we want to try to make sure like we have equal representation or close to equal representation from the different groups and the different continents. So it's like suddenly it became, okay, Jay, I need to find a theropod that's from Europe that's name starts with J. And it got very specific, very quick, and your number of dinosaurs shrinks very rapidly. And then, of course, you have to pick the ones that you don't already know or that the public really knows and put it on there. And you get J as I remember, Jura Tyrant, a Tyrannosaur from Europe. So it was a complex process. There was probably a good solid, I think, 2 weeks of just making the list, refining the list, making sure it was good, finding the mystery dinosaur as well, trying to balance those ratios. They're not perfect, but they're decently balanced. And it was just, it's a very interesting process when you set, funny enough, so many parameters of writing a book like this with this specific format. And so that's kind of how it came about. And of course, right, I had talked to you and said, hey, we should write a book. And you were like, yes. And, I remember, right, I brought you the dinosaurs and we're like, here we go. We got to get this information. We got to write this down. We got to make this happen. And of course, me being me, I gave it a code name. It was code name Project Alphabet, which I'm still very proud of. And so, I love, oh yeah, Project Alphabet. And I remember at first, yeah, I like pretty much no one knew about the book. I think at one point, because I had a business question, I asked my father and revealed that, he was writing a book, but then for a while he was the only one who knew. But yeah, but that's kind of how we got started. As for who I am, I'm a PhD student. I'm a paleontologist in training. I'm on my way. I've only dug on one continent. I've technically been to two continents in my life, though the other continent was not for paleo purposes. I'm here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at the Oklahoma State University Center for Health Sciences, working with Dr. Eric Snively, who's my advisor and does biomechanics. I'm trying to do biomechanics for theropods, specifically allosaurids, along with just studying allosaurids more generally and doing some other interesting ideas. And I also love sauropods. I spent my master's, and that's how I met you, working on sauropods and specifically BYU 18531, a beautiful apatosaurine from Utah. And yeah, it's been a ride from initial concept to seeing the book start to be born, taking ideas from the mind and putting them on paper, and then holding a physical copy of the book was one of the, greatest feelings. And then yeah, and then getting from you the email, hey, the book is out, and typing into Amazon, not sure, but typing in So You Know Tyrannosaurus Rex and suddenly seeing a product on Amazon that I could purchase right there. And the same thing really, okay, quick story time. I grew up as a Barnes and Noble kid. I will always love Barnes and Noble. One of my favorite activities with the family, especially on like a nice Friday night. You've had a good meal and you go to Barnes and Noble and you can check out the books. And I was always amazed. I will always love books, even if I'm not reading them as quickly as I wish. I will always love books. I will definitely always be oh gosh, a librophile, I think is the right word, or
A bibliophile?
a bibliophile. Thank you. I will always love my books. Books are amazing windows into humanity and human knowledge. So the fact that I was able to go onto the Barnes& and Noble website and maybe one day go into the store and just type in our book and see my name next to something that people could go purchase was one of the greatest feelings in the world. I had a very big smile on my face just a couple days ago when we found out the book was out, or I think just yesterday that when the book
Yesterday.
was out. Yeah, biggest smile on my face.
Absolutely so true. When this showed up as our copy to review, it was so neat to see our names on the cover. And then when it went live and my friend said, "Hey, I just bought your book." I'm like, what? Someone bought a book that we wrote? Are you kidding me? That is so, so cool. And why we wrote the book is in part, in my mind, partly was to empower grandparents and parents because you and I were the little 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old that knew every dinosaur name, and and we like to tell everyone we knew everything. But the reality is, every once in a while, and I get this now as an adult, sometimes you wanna throw down with the kids and hang with them. And I want to be able to sit across at a holiday and then drop to my nephew, well, I was just reading about Udanoceratops, our U creature, and they're going to be either that's not real, in which case, bam, check it out, page U right here for Udano. Um, Boom. And then the thought was at the same time, if I have 2 children, and I would love to sit there and read them stories about these dinosaurs. And the way the book is written is we have on one side we have information. So we've got factoids, cool information. On the other side, where in the globe it is, and then we've got artwork. And we have beautiful artwork. Our artist really, Kevin Zanetti's fantastic. And then we had Christoph Sidolowski, who really came in as well. And then this cover with the T Rex just tearing through the fourth wall. It's just, it's so cool when we get to write our own book because we get to do the things that we want to do. And it was really cool to do it that way. So anyone watching this, if you buy it, if you want to leave feedback on here, we're open because we're going to write more of these. And it's not just about dinosaurs, but let's not tease the future too much.
Project Alphabetum Cenozoica?
But yes, absolutely. And after the trip that I just had between Asia and Europe, I saw so many cool mammals that I didn't know existed that there's probably more mammals than there are dinosaurs that I've never heard of. One of the fun things was SVP last year was quizzing people on some of these dinosaurs. Is this a dinosaur or not? And watching card carrying, PhD empowered professional paleontologists not being able to recognize every one of these dinosaurs meant that you particularly did an incredible job in selecting the portfolio to stump even professionals won't all know that these dinosaurs are real, legit taxa. Thank you for being a co-author on this book. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to work with you. I cannot wait to go out and when I give talks, I hopefully can bring we can just got a book tour on this and
Yeah.
show it off and uh,
I know there are several paleo events out there that sometimes bring in authors to read dinosaur books, especially ones I think written for kids. And that's the other thing, Brian. This book isn't just for kids. It's both for kids and for adults. And we provide a pronunciation guide. So in case the parents are like, I don't want to read that dinosaur's really hard to pronounce name, well, we have a pronunciation guide of exactly how to say it. So you know what? You can say Brachytrachalopan. B is for Brachytrachalopan, and Brachytrachalopan is for everyone.
And what I also love about this book is you are spot on. The book itself has the back end where we talk about the continents and then the timeline. And then we go ahead and list a bunch of resources for people. And what is a dinosaur? How is something considered a dinosaur? We do a job of letting someone get their teeth to bite into this bone and hang on to it and as a gateway for someone who may be on the younger side that likes the pictures. As they get older and get into the back of the book, there's going to be a lot more information for them.
We
And
even have the amazing barcode, Brian, that people scan and then it takes them to the website we set up so they can look at the full phylogeny that was created, showing all the different animals in our book and their famous relatives and how they're all related to each other as we currently know in the dinosaur family tree.
And I think that that's a great point that a lot of people don't know about phylogenetic systematics, aka cladistics. And that QR code takes them to a beautiful web page that we will update as time goes on in case there are changes in it. And so it's truly I get asked by folks, well, what is the audience? What age? And I'm said anyone that likes dinosaurs, from super young to a centenarian, everyone in between. If you like dinosaurs, especially animals you've never heard of, this is a great one. At SVP next time, the Society of Vertebrate Paleontologists, or some dinosaur meeting, we should have a little fun, like a talk where we poll the audience: is this a dinosaur? Yes or no? And to see, or have individual interview people with microphones and say, is this a dinosaur? And if so, what kind of dinosaur? To see if they know. And
Mm.
can anyone who gets the highest score? Because I would guarantee you no one's going to get all 27 right. I just don't see it. There's such a variety and such different animals on different continents. Here's a fun fact. I have been so many places, and it wasn't until March of this year that I physically touched one of the dinosaurs in our book, Fukuiraptor. That means there's 26 taxa that I have not touched the bones of, despite the fact that I've been in hundreds of natural history museums. That amazes me. So you did a great job of selecting some real obscure dinosaurs. Good job.
Pays for Adratiklit, where it all began.
So thank you, Colin.
Thank you,
So
Brian.
Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble, wherever you like to get your books. If you go to your local bookstore and it's not present and you want a physical copy from your local bookstore, tell them to order it because they certainly can. I'm Dr. Brian Curtice saying thank you kindly. Adios.